Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. December is something special. I'm introducing you poems that dear to my heart. Even if every school kid has to recite them as it was forced on them when I was learning them. Now, years later, decades later, I looked back and these are great things happened to me growing up in this Chinese culture. Okay, so today is a poem about spring, how it feels to be in spring. Okay, 春眠不觉晓. You sleep in the springtime, 春眠 sleep. Spring sleep, you're not aware it's already daylight. 处处闻啼鸟. Notice the rhyming, 小鸟. Okay, 处处 where, or location. That's Chinese way to say everywhere. We use repetition. 闻啼鸟. You can hear the howling birds. Okay, how cool is that? Chinese use this, I guess, big beastly animal howling sound that normally associated with wolves or tigers. Use that on bird. Because, okay, before I start this lesson preparation, I don't even know this T actually means some beastly howling, not the birds chirping. And also, niao in Chinese, we have two kinds of birds. And this is a particularly big birds. So I guess big birds, actually, I did hear their howling. Okay, in my neighborhood, there are kind of a green parrots thing, a little bit sharp tone, and there are some neighborhoods birds that make chirping sound, but occasionally flew over. My part of town is hawks, and they do make that sharp, high-pitched, long-sustaining sound, and it gives you a spatial sense that's not done, not possibly delivered by smaller chirping birds sound. Okay, one by one. 春眠不觉晓. Springtime. How Chinese express spring? We have plants growing. Okay, double trident looking thing, plant symbol. And then we have the third plant. You can see it's another trident looking thing, but it's positioned differently. This horizontal line is the ground level. And then we have most of the plants underground. Only the middle, the tallest part of the plant is showing its tip above the ground. So that means it starts to grow. We don't see much of it yet. And then we have the sun symbol, which is energetic ball. Horizontal line means energy. So we have this ball, a fire, next to the plants, potentially to grow. That gives you the environmental factors of when the sun gets stronger, that's when the plants are going to grow. And that's our definition of spring. 眠 means sleep. Sleep has the eye symbol next to it. Of course, this is our shut-eye moment, means we don't really in sleep use our eyeballs, except the red eye movement moments of sleep, right? We have this emphasis on eyeball movement. But during sleep, we're not supposed to have our eyeball in there, but somehow Chinese capture eye in there. And then we have another eye. You see, this is a drawn out of the eye with a more nuanced shape. It's not boxy, not oval, not a simple geometric shape anymore, but it's the eyeball. And then we have this one sharp line diagonally going down. And I'm actually not sure if this dot in there is intentional. It looks like, because otherwise it will be just one straight line. And you can see in contemporary Chinese, this same shape with this diagonal line, and then we actually use horizontal line to draw out, to fully indicate. It's an indicator, right? So it's fully draw attention to this. The whole thing means people. Okay, eyeball people doesn't make sense, right? Until I realize what people actually mean in Chinese. It means people with their eyes closed. Okay, it's kind of people buy into a certain construct of the society so that they don't see the reality, so that they are easier to govern. And that's the definition of people in Chinese. Um, I guess there are political truths in it, right? So this mean, besides its political meaning, its origin means eyes shut down kind of humans. You don't have your clear-eyed vision. Okay, so this eye shut down next to the eyeball, then together give you the sense of this is your shut eye moment. That's Chinese leap. 不觉晓, we have many times this negation of you have basically a pointer from the heaven, the top line is heaven, pointer downward. And then you have intersect with this big arch thing. And that intersecting is the indicator, just like this dot. So Chinese have strokes in the frame that's representing supposedly reality, the physical reality of our world construction, and also abstract ones. Just like on top of this frame, then we use arrows, pointers, or highlights, or draw a circle up there. That's beyond reality. It's human's footnote, so to speak, in a visual language footnote. So this is the indicator. It's a footnote. It's not reality. Pointing down and intersects with that means this is the attention I want to draw you to, which is a negation. This is from heaven coming down to earth. And then the attention is down on this coming down part of it. So that's a negation to the origin, and that's a Chinese no. Okay, 绝, we have double hand symbol on top of the screen. Okay, Chinese express hand in 3 ways. We have 3-finger hand symbol from bottom. Most often is right hand symbol, 3-finger. Occasionally we have 5-finger hand symbol on the screen. And when we try to express somebody else's hand, we use top frame. So this kind of 3-finger hand symbol, right, reaching down here from top of the string. That means it's not your hand, it's somebody else's hand. And this is this case. Crisscross, double crisscross means network of knowledge. Somebody else is handling over the network of knowledge. Underneath this arch means secure designated place, which actually is Chinese school. Chinese draw out a schooling in this way. So you have a space, you have somebody else handing over you network of knowledge. And then the bottom is human seed. You develop your human seed from this learning environment. Okay, human, this is a human figure. You see here, recurring theme. That's our human symbol. Then we have this eyeball, you have eyeball here, right? Recurring theme. Human seed means it's not just your eyeball seed. It's attached to your body, attached to your whole nervous system, your whole value embedded in you and your biases. So human seed is Chinese way to acknowledge each of us see our own way and our own biased in like a partial truth way. Okay, so 觉 is human see when you start to learn to understand something in the learning environment. So I guess just like this mean, these are people who got their eyes covered. They don't actually get to see. Once you go through the schooling, the education system, then you have this framework to understand the world. And that's when you start to adopt, to develop your human see. And that's a Chinese definition of aware. Okay. 小, again, we have this sun, right? Energetic ball, recurring theme, right? And then people. One horizontal line on top of people. That means on top of the highest part of the people. That means the head portion. So in Chinese, we measure lots of things according to the human as the yardstick to measure the world. So when we are saying, okay, this horizontal line is this, it doesn't mean cut somebody's head off. Okay, it actually means the position, location-wise, is top of that person because we're using human as the yardstick to measure the height or the elevation of things. Then this is top of human figure, means the highest point. And then 3 soil symbol stacking up together means a huge pile of earth over there. So this earth is expressed by this cross has nothing to do with Christianity. It's simply a sort of plant growing in the ground, right? Have the above ground and below ground portion. And then the second horizontal line is the indicator to say it's the environment next to the root of the plant. And that is Chinese soil symbol. It's little bit logic and the and if you realize which is the indicator, because we draw a picture, but where the meaning is where the attention that these indicators are pointing you to. Okay, so this indicator says it's the surrounding of that tip of the root. Okay, so pile of soil or on top of the person, both means it's high. And next to sun, that means when the sun is already high in the sky, that means way after sunrise. Okay. So during the time of spring, when you sleep, kind of sleep in, right? And then you're not aware that the sun is already high in the sky. The reason why is you're not aware because your biological clock is still during the winter time when the day is shorter. So that's why you oversleep. And then you didn't change your clock, but the earth does. Then you have the sun rising up earlier than the winter time. So that's the timing, the day gets longer. That's the first phrase. And then 处处闻啼鸟. The second, I guess, marker of is a springtime is you have birds hollowing around because I guess the poet lives in this environment when birds are gone or silent or migrate to warmer places during winter time. When it's warmer, one marker to know that it's actually springtime is you have birds migrate back to this place. 处处. So Chinese is not shy from repeating the same character one after another immediately. And we actually use that to imitate the rhythm, pacing in reality, or create an effect that to give you a sense of there are multiple of them. So 处处 means you look here, you look there, right? Everywhere, here and there, everywhere. Okay, so 处 is made of this backward walking sign next to a stool kind of thing. So backward walking. This 2 deck thing structure is an ancient shoe structure. So now when we think about the shoes is the separator between our bottom of our feet to the ground. We don't want to touch the ground, right? So shoe has this double deck that your feet are supposed to be on the top deck, right? And then there is this binder thing to combine the top and the bottom so your bottom of shoes don't fall off, right? And then this elongated to give you direction. It didn't point backwards in this frame, but normally this character have this longer stroke, kind of 45-degree pointing toward the back. Okay, here's the knowledge of Chinese. Chinese regard the movement forward walking is toward the left side of the screen. And so when you see the shoes deck in this way, that means you're facing the forward-looking position. But this line, when it's going this way, it gives you an indication of actually, even if you're facing this way, you're backward walking. Okay, backward walking until this stool or this blocker, whatever is the obstacle over there. And then that means you got to stop over there. And this is a location you need to stop at. I imagine in ancient times, this chu or this type of stool probably is a type of furniture that you, when you go to places, ancient society, highly hierarchical, and contemporary society too. But ancient probably is more strict with all kind of social bindings and ceremonies and routines. And everybody know their position. Everybody knows which stool they need to sit on, right? And so this chu gives you the sense of in that space, you go to your stool. And that's your location. That's where you got pinned down. Okay, that's Chinese chu, chu, chu. Now, when we have this double door panel thing with the ear in the middle, this one actually means without seeing, because it's on the other side of the door. You are outside the door now, and this is your ear. You're trying to hear. You basically try to eavesdrop of somebody else is saying something. So this one, actually, in one episode about the Chinese traditional medicine practice of how doctors back then, without the contemporary, modern equipment to diagnose the patient, one of them is to hear. And actually, in Asian society, doctors, mostly male doctors, they are not supposed to even, some hierarchical, high-class woman gets sick, the doctors got to keep a good distance from them, right? So this one actually means you hear what that patient is saying or describing to you, or even hear the utterance of their speaking to diagnose if they are wobbly or sick or what kind of thing, if they're coughing or things like that, right? So this here give you this sense of the object you want to learn about is invisible to you because you're on the other side of the door, but you have to really tune in, use your ear to pick up as much signal as possible. All right. Yi, howling. Okay, see, the simplified and traditional look totally different. And that's because the dictionary back then didn't include old words. It could be the words was actually made after the dictionary about 2,000 years ago was made. So could be this is a new word. But in ancient times, this T, this is kind of closest equivalent is the mouth symbol, means speaking. The right side is the tiger next to the high ground. Okay, Chinese have this frame, right? When we look at the Chinese picture, it's this framework of a boxy shape, kind of a taller box. And then if this is top left corner here, that means high ground. If it is bottom left corner, that means low ground. So this is a high ground. To tiger, the whole complicated strokes is our Chinese tiger. And this tiger is next to the high ground means the tiger is back to the wall, right? And what the tiger is going to do when they are backed into the wall, they probably are going to be aggressive and using their voice to show aggression. And also this wall behind it probably act as a sound symbol where the howling sound are going to bounce off to kind of strengthen the sound of the howling. So this whole picture is depicting this animalistic sound. It's animals' language, except that we don't understand, and the sound probably could be scary to us. So this is howling. I guess this relates to the lung size and how much sound you can create. So animal howling and human speaking are very different, right? We train our voice, the volume of our voice, the intonations of voice, so trained throughout the years. Like I cannot even howl if I want to do it, right? But animals, that's their language. So we're using this howling sound on birds, and this bird is a big bird, and you can see this long drapey hair. And that's the feathers of the bird. This is the eye of the bird. And these are the two little, claws of the bird. Okay, so that's 处处闻啼鸟. Everywhere you hear the birds. This is exactly what I'm describing. 春眠不觉晓，处处闻啼鸟. So then what the poet is going to say. Let's discover tomorrow. Thank you for your time. See you next.